Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome to Tidy Tuesday on Friday with Light. For a second there, my encoding was overloaded, and so I lost a few frames, and it seems to be doing it again. It's a little odd. I'm going to switch over to the card and then investigate what on earth is going on. It looks like that's been fixed, but maybe it's the internet that's dropping all the frames this time? Wait, Adobe, install something. Why would you do that? Stop updating Photoshop. I'm trying to stream. Hey there, Mac. So I tried to start, and it was dropping 50% of the frames, and it's because it was trying to update Photoshop. Okay, now we can ping the Discord. Okay. So now we can go back over here. Everything's great. There we go. So now we can get in here, make ourselves folder probably 38, because we didn't do this last week. And let's see about just copying some of this code. Make new script. Change this to 38. And there we go. And it is billboard.csv. Oh, there's two files this time. Audiofeatures.csv. Billboard Hot 100s, music industry standard record chart in the United States for songs published weekly by Billboard magazine. Based on sales, physical and digital radio play, and online streaming. Okay. So we have a week ID, position that week, song name, performer, song ID. Interesting. Oh, how many times it's been on the chart? previous week position. Highest it has ever been, how long it's been there. And so this would likely be... Oh, right, because this you'll have several instances of any given song, and then in audio features, you join the song ID between the two, such that you can then have these other audio features. Danceability. How suitable is it for dancing? Tempo, rhythmic stability, strength of the beat, and overall regularity. 0 is not danceable. 1 is most danceable. Energy. So perhaps it could be low energy but quite danceable. You would expect there to be a bit of correlation between those two. Oh, estimated overall key. If no key was detected, value is -1. I would be interested to see which tunes don't have a perceived key. Could be a slow dance, but that's... Even slow dances would have only moderate danceability. Like, sure, they'd have rhythmic stability, but the beat strength would still be not as strong as some other things. Loudness. Mode. Ooh. Yeah, you give us 2 choices for mode, huh? Okay. Speechiness. I love the name of that. Above 2/3, probably entirely spoken words. 1/3 to 2/3, music and speech. Below 1/3, likely purely instrumental. Acousticness, instrumentalness. Liveliness. Ah, presence of an audience. Valence. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to plot the relative valence versus the mode to demonstrate that major isn't necessarily happy. But then again, this is also the Billboard charts, so maybe it will confirm that particular stereotype. I really want to see how they notate the time signature as a number. Like, how? How do you denote the time signature as a number? Well, time to find out. Well, that's the trouble. The way that time signatures are, it's a huge problem. Trying to just write it down like this. Because when your options are 1, 3, like 0, 1, 3, 4, and 5, where's the 6, 8? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to select where time signature equals 5. We're going to select song. Wait, select is pulling columns. What I want to do is filter by that. And then select song. And time signature. What? Well, that's the thing, Mac. You can't put it as a decimal either, because the meaning of 2, 2 versus 4, 4 versus 8, 8, like, they're all one, but they mean something different. And it's hard to imagine that there are, like, this means 5, 4. I can't imagine. So let's check out 1942 flows. Probably not one that we want to just check out. Wait a minute. Isn't Act a Fool ludicrous? Okay, so I'm sorry, but Act a Fool's in 4. There's nothing about Act a Fool that would imply. Does it change meter at some point? Now I kind of want to just go and listen to it and be like, what could this even mean? Yeah, it makes me wonder where they got this from. Yeah, except you missed the denominator. And there is no way Actifool is in 5. If your machine thinks that you've got that many tunes with 5 beats in their measures, your machine is wrong. Just wrong. Man, it makes me a bit suspicious of all of the rest of it. But the thing that we were interested in, aside from this, which will get the label... What? Because that is just... No. So we're going to take those audio features. What we're interested in is the valence and the mode. Don't know how Tidy drops. Nah. It just drops nah. Sometimes it's just that easy. I think it's like this. Could not find function drop nah. Do we not have dplyr? It's right here. Hello? This implies that drop nah is in fact a thing. Oh, it's in TidyR. There we go. And then from here, we toss it into a ggplot. I'm not sure jump point is really what I want. No. Because this is nominal and this is continuous. And so we want a box plot. Excusez-moi. Did we bark something? I was just thinking it would be super straightforward. It probably is. I'm just missing a little something. basic box plot. So gplot as x equals y equals. We don't need the fill. Did you forget AS group equals? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, we probably need to mutate the mode to be a factor. Well, that didn't help. Yeah, that's not how that works. So we check this, mutate number into factor in. So we use cut. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. But really, we should do that up here. Like, we should just do that to the column, because it should just be a factor. Hmm. You know what? Actually, we should map that. I think we might have done that last week, actually. Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, I think we might have done it and then removed it because it wasn't necessary. Um, vectorized version of switch. Yeah. This is what we're looking for. So 1 equals major, 0 equals minor. Probably. Let's double check. Yeah, minor is 0. Brilliant. And yet it still plots it like that. Oh, because of that. Okay. Interesting. There we go. Yeah, and now we've got fairly decent evidence that it doesn't matter. Does that not work? It doesn't like that for that. We need to just do XLab and YLab. Okay, let's see about those other interesting box plots they had. Like having the jitters. Oh, I do love a good violin chart. Yeah, let's try to do a violin plot. I love violin plots. Oh, easy peasy. However, I would be interested to mix the two. Like I still want the lines from the box plot. Like, I want to see where the median is. They kind of do look like obsidian spearheads. Um, so you do see some difference in the distribution, but it's not a lot. Like, you've got a little bit extra here down at like 1/3. Okay, so now we look for ggplot violin with median. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you just put a tiny box plot inside. It's genius. Um, then I want to see if I can do something. I don't know if we can. Do something like this. Object valence not found. That's a shame. Oh. Maybe it's not an AB line? Maybe it's just like an H line? H line. Mapping must be created by E, yes. I just want an H line. Maybe I can just do the AB line afterwards. Nope. Yeah, but I don't want it per group. I want the global. Really? You can just do it like that, huh? Okay, so we just change this to h-line. We want a y-intercept. Let's just put in the number by hand for right now and see whether or not this just works. It just works. Okay. Except now it doesn't just work. Oh, right. We haven't dropped the NAS. Okay. It's been too long since I made a dotted line. Line type dotted. I mean, that does make sense. Okay. So, mood and mode, kinda no real difference. Let's break this down such that it's easier to read. Now let's try it with something else. So let's do it with danceability. Is that how we spell danceability? Danceability. And so there's a bigger but still insignificant difference between the danceability in the two different modes. Danceability itself seems to be fairly normally distributed in major, but is a little bit skewed in minor. And oddly, minor is the one that is trying to be more danceable, but probably isn't. Interesting. And, oddly enough, yeah, it's not significant. We're not even going to talk about the differences. They're not real. So major and minor denote which notes, like the relative spacing of the notes of a scale that lead to just a different flavor of the music. And so if you think of, trying to think of a good way to give you a sense of it. Oh, I have a perfect way of giving you a sense of it because I've got Band in a Box. I can just play you the difference between major and minor. That's just a thing I can do. And so, if we just hit play, this is in major. And then, this is in minor. It's just that easy. That again is major versus minor. And so it's not something that's super easy to describe. The old-fashioned elementary school way of saying it is one is happy and one is sad. There are certain things that do typify that, but it's not necessarily sadness. Because, like, Be Prepared from The Lion King. It's not a sad tune, but I'm fairly certain it's in minor. But any of, like, the super joyous klezmer type music is likely to be in minor or a minor related mode. You run into some serious trouble, though, in certain types of popular music where they use power chords. If you use a power chord and a pentatonic scale for your tune, depending on the pentatonic, we might not even know whether your tune is supposed to be in major or minor because it's missing the one note that is different between this and this. And that is also just a never-ending pit because you could do something like this. Also, has no third. It is neither major nor minor. You could do something like this. Technically major, but this has a very different flavor from this. Like, it's got a different flavor to it. And then yet another flavor of major. No, I don't want C major. I want C. How do you... I'm trying to think how you write that in Band in a Box. Little m, big M. I mean, that's... I can't write a big M. Oh, M mage. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now this is one of the weirdest minors. I like it. It's super weird. Oh, right. I forgot I do need to boost Band in a Box. Yeah, so minor 7, I love quite a bit. The C minor major 7 is probably the weirdest. And so all they are concerning themselves with is this. Versus this. And so did the valence drop between the two? I don't know. Probably. Like, I would say the valence dropped, but the danceability didn't. And so even though all of their audio properties are roughly independent of one another, like you can change them independently, so they're orthogonal, doesn't necessarily mean in how people make and sell music that they are really separate. Yeah, it's a complicated thing, and whenever they talk about the key or the mode, they're talking in general terms across the entire piece of music. Because you can write a completely major thing that requires a minor chord. So for example, this entire thing is in C major, but it goes to a D minor, to a G7, back to C. That progression uses a minor chord, but the overall mode is still major. And that's where music theory gets weird. And it's fairly common for a piece to modulate, such that you're in a different key for the ending, or the middle, or anywhere that it feels like. Okay, so now that we've done that, we want to do a difference between the valence and the danceability. We're not going to fill. actually, let's actually fill it. Because now we're going to do geom points. Get rid of these. And make ourselves a nice scatter plot. That is... Oh, there's a lot. It kind of looks like we're going to need to take a sample of this. Because that's too many dots! Okay, so slice sample, either N or prop. Okay. Um... Let's see what this gives us. I didn't spell it wrong. Danceability. That should just... Maybe we leave out the formula? Okay, so it's having a little bit of trouble with the colors for the modes. Let's take them out for the moment. That's not bad. ggplot point fill by factor. I wonder if it wants to be color instead of fill. It's pretty hard to see. But that's kind of the point. They're all super intermixed. Kind of want to change the palette. What do I need for that? Do I need the Veritas package? I do. Oof, that is very unreadable. Civitas is probably not any better. Yeah, all those are pretty bad. Like, I'm tempted... Well, no, with the background, that's kind of meh. Let's try this one. Yeah, it's real hard to get really good color with this much splatter. It's even worse when you take the samples, because then you're never entirely certain. Okay, so this is fairly clear, but we need to set the limits. Okay. Because the way it was originally made it look like it was a really serious correlation. And like there's a pretty good separation. But I'm not certain I like the band that they're using. Because these are the bands for your confidence that that's where the middle is. But it doesn't really give you a sense of the distribution like the violin plots gave us. Yeah, I know. Went too far. So alpha. Alpha is what I want. Because you never know whether they call it opacity or they call it alpha. That is interesting because it gives you a good sense of that modal like 0.9 where you just have a bunch layered there at 0.9. Yeah, I think we're probably better off manually dealing with the colors. Okay. So I like the purple. The blue needs a bit more kick. Probably need to rotate it farther. Maybe 4/8F. I don't think they're far enough away from one another. Maybe do a light green with the purple. Oh, that is bold. I forgot just how very strong green is perceptually. Add some blue, drop some red. It's too gray. There we go. I think that's a little better. Still a little hard to read. I'm not a graphical design expert by any stretch. Okay, so it stacked them side by side. That is not what I want. Can we put the first two side by side over top of the third one? That'd be great. Oh, so close. Can we use parentheses? I love chart math. Okay, so let's make a variable for scale colors. Excuse me. Why? Why you no change? Maybe it's because of this? But that color should be the bounds of the violin plots, not the inside. Yeah. Weird. Ah, scale fill as opposed to scale color. Of course, of course, of course. Because we're not changing the color, we're changing the fill. Now that's a bold purple. Okay. We turned off the legend last time. Did we keep it turned off? Oh, right, we did turn it back on, though. Okay, so for these two, we don't need a legend because it's labeled. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the R style of variables. I, for some reason, don't really like camel casing in R. So come here, replace that, replace that, replace that. That is what I call it. Yep, yep. Mode label. Okay, so now we run all of this. And so now we've got a little bit of trouble with the legend for the danceability and mood one. But that's probably dealt with in the labs function. Maybe not. How did we do that? Ah, that's how. It's where we got the guides going. So for the color, the title is mode. Mode, mood, and danceability. Brilliant. So now we start adding plot annotation. Mode, mood, and movement. And then we beg some questions. In the past, mode was primarily taught from the point of major and minor were differentiated by their valence. Versus melancholic. However, this is a far too narrow view topic as typified by this Billboard Hot 100 data. Difference in valence between songs identified as major, minor is negligible at best. Similarly, the danceability favored in minor tunes, if at all. I love howevers, and so I probably use them too much. The danceability, these songs, on the other hand, minor tunes, regardless of their valence. Oh, we should grab where the data is from. We need to grab the part that does fonts. And add that as well to each of the plots. I know there's a way of creating a global theme, and we might get into that at some point, but I'm going to say not quite yet to that. That looked like an error. Error in P3. Could not do a double arrow. Huh? Oh, that's supposed to be inside of a theme, and that's the problem. This belongs in here. So this will also be good for this one. And we get rid of the legend problem for that one. Okay. So that is that. Then we just need the code for making it an actual thing. Yeah, access denied, whatever. Converting. Converting! Oh, this might take a while. There are a lot of dots. There we go. So then we go into the files. Oh, we didn't set the session properly. Let's run it from here. Okay, so we need to narrow this a little bit. I don't know why. Why it's this shape. Like it doesn't feel like it's the right aspect ratio. So let's bring this down to 10. Oh, we need to close that. Or else it will throw an error. Chuck it right in our face. Yeah, that feels a little bit better. Wonder why it swapped the major and minor now. It's interesting. But we've got some nice violin plots. One looks a little bit like a ray. We've showed that the change in danceability from the mode is constant, regardless of the valence. Nice parallel lines. And that the danceability typically increases with the valence. But there's a lot of variance. So on average, it's more danceable the happier it is. But, I mean, look at that variance. You've got something all the way over here that is just as danceable as anything else, despite being a valence of like 0.1. Neat. So we've got ourselves a relatively nice looking thing. The danceability versus mood with the scatter plot is still, I don't know. I think it could use a little bit of work, but I'm not entirely certain how to make it really how I want it. I wonder if there's something in Geom Smooth. Wonder if we should use LOS instead of LM. Wonder how that would come through. Oh no, R exploded. So let's switch it over to LOS and see how that goes. So what LOS does is it's a local regression instead of global. So instead of drawing one line through all of the data, it weights the data by how far away it is from the point you're looking at. Wait, GAM. Are we using GAMs here? Well, we'll see how the generalized additive model smoothed it. Because that's more likely to be a natural cubic spline. Once again, we've got to set the directory. Let's try this again. Oh, right, should close this such that it can actually make the ping. Excuse me? I don't see that going anywhere, so let's method equals LOS. Maybe it's just super straight. Oh, you can't. You're not going to be able to LOS with that many points. Yeah. There's not a lot of curve to those lines. You don't really gain anything from using low S over LM. Ooh, let's put both, and then we'll see. Let's do all three. Yeah, for major, there's nothing resembling a difference there. Minor, you do have a little bit of wiggle, but all the wiggle is within the confidence bands. I'm not sure what they're generalizing about that additive model. It is identical to linear. Maybe it just runs faster. Yeah, I'm not sure how much we actually gain from having the extra points. And so the question becomes, should we include the Y limits? Because this is a whole lot more readable. I just don't know if it really tells the same story. Okay, so can't do 20,000. Can it do 15,000? Nope. 10,000. Nope. Yeah, and this is super unstable, depending on which 5,000 you get. Yeah, look at that. That's just crazy. That's super ridiculously different. But again, when you're zoomed all the way in, it gets that weird little tail depending on whether or not you grab some at this tail end where there's not a whole lot of points. Whereas if you do the sample and do the linear model, you get a little bit of variance, but it's really quite small. how much it changes at the extremes. And so I would be more likely to believe in the robustness of the linear model over trying to do low S with the subsample. Because low S has its moments. I don't think this is one of them. Yeah, it's just so much easier to read. Okay, so I think this is a pretty decent visualization of the relationship of these three facets of the music that people think of as being relatively well related, but you've got two that work into the third, but don't necessarily interact with one another. And so when you've got this kind of relationship between the valence and the danceability, your model's going to have to be able to account for that. And this makes them look super collinear, but there's a lot of noise that might be explained by other things. So if we were doing a machine learning model on this, I'm not sure if you would want to account for this or not. I saw that somebody else was doing a little bit of work with dimensionality reduction, because we've got several dimensions that might have a linear relationship like this, and so instead of using valence or danceability, you might use something that's part of one and part of the other to combine this relationship into a third, as yet unnamed, property of music. Okay, so that went pretty well. I would probably want to do a little bit more work on selecting the two colors, but this was good for just being pretty quick. At some point, we might want to do some research into how to pick a good pair of colors. These seem far enough apart on the hue and on the luminance such that they should be fairly easy to distinguish. But I'm not certain how this would look with the various types of color blindness. But again, if the luminance is different, it shouldn't matter what type of color blindness you have. You should be able to tell them apart from that, even if the hue doesn't help you. So yeah, one of these times we'll probably want to come up with a Lightbringer color scheme that is purple and green and has a good balance, has a good contrast, and just works such that we can always plug it in. And heck, maybe we could one day make it into a little R package such that we would just load in it as a library, et voila, we get this color scheme. With just a tiny bit of code, boop, it just drops in our colors. But that's a thing for another time. I still like the fonts. I like the layout. Turned out pretty well. I'm not sure that I necessarily want to be posting them to Twitter just yet, because we're still figuring some things out. But I do like the man array with the box plot inside. So yeah, I think that's that. I don't know if I'll be able to stream this weekend. I've got quite a bit of work to do for the dissertation. And there's just been a whole lot of running around doing errands and whatnot recently, so energy levels have been relatively low. Sorry about the lack of streams, but when I had a chance to not stream on Tuesday because Frog was busy, I took it. Just recharged and whatnot. So we might be back on Monday with a Music Monday stream. Band in a Box really helped with explaining a little bit about what we were doing today. So I'll try to keep you appraised in the Discord. But for tonight, I think we're done. We made a nice little thing. It's not a statistical test. It's not, oh, is there a real significant difference? It's just, can we see what's going on? And I think it's a fairly decent depiction, debunking the mode and mood conundrum, showing a little bit of something maybe between mode and danceability, and definitely with the mood and the danceability. As you increase the valence, you increase the dancing. But I was not expecting minor to have that gulf of danceability between it and major. But here we are. And now we know. So thank you all for being here. Yeah, gonna try to do Music Monday. If I've got time for a stream because I'm super productive this weekend, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next live stream of music or Minecraft or Tidy Tuesday stuff in R with light.